Hey everybody, it's me, Katie from the Board Game Mechanics, and I'm back for my next 15 for my top 100. My last video, if you haven't watched it, was from 100 to number 85. So today, I'm gonna start at number 84. My number 84 game is fantastic. It's a two-player only game, and it's from a publisher that I'm really digging right now, and that's Keymaster Games. The game is Caper. Caper is just like a fun little spy themed game where you are playing against your opponent to try to stack your spies or your criminals who are going to pull off a caper at whatever city you have, and there's like 3 locations in the city. So you're playing these really fun like spy cards, like old school gadgets. You've got skeleton keys and these suction scalers, and the artwork is fantastic. Emmerich does the artwork. It is so cool. It's such a fun game. I love that it's 2 players. There's player variability with the different thieves that come out, with the different cities and the different locations within those cities. So it is just like a fun, kind of thinky, but yet like super cool spy game. And that's my number 84, Caper. Number 83 is a little bit bigger game, but also has a fun, lighthearted theme, and that is Prodigal's Club. Now, Prodigal's Club has a theme that you're basically trying to take everybody off, get rid of all your money, just be irreverent, that sort of thing. The theme is pretty thin as far as gameplay goes, but that's kind of your motivation. So you've got a lot of stuff going on in this game. Tracks that you're working with, like trying to make all these various people dislike you. You're trying to get rid of money, trying to get rid of possessions. You're trying to do, bombastic things like go to a Sunday picnic naked or whatever. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And the really cool thing about this is the scoring, because you determine your score. The person who has the lowest score wins, because you're trying to be just terrible. You want to be that prodigal son and waste everything. So the lowest score you have on any of these different areas is what is going to count for your score. So you may do really well getting rid of your money, but maybe you haven't made enough people mad. Or maybe you haven't done enough outrageous things in politics. Or you haven't gambled enough away. Whatever. On all these different areas, the highest of those scores is what gives you your score. So you can't ignore anything. You're juggling all these different areas. So what seems like a frivolous kind of game is pretty intricate. So that is my number 83, Prodigal's Club. My number 82 is a game that Jason and I just talked about on the podcast. It was on his list, but I also really enjoy this game. Obviously, it's on my list at number 82, and that is Ladies and Gentlemen. Ladies and Gentlemen is a great party game. You have these traditional gender roles set up, but the game allows you really to make fun of it. And I think that's what makes this game so great, is you can be hilarious. You can pretend you have your British accent if you want or whatever, and the ladies are out shopping, and you could have men or women play whatever sides. You could have couples work together, or sometimes my friends, we just team up and decide. And so we'll coach it, oh dear, let me buy you something lovely today. Why don't you pick out the best dress you can find? And so the ladies are on one side, and they have a lot to do. The ladies have to have a dress for the ball. After that, there's accessories they can add, from fans to jewelry to hats to shoes, all these different things. But they're looking for particular designers. They can only have 2 out of the 3 designers. They want to have like the most expensive ones. They want to get stars. They want to have bonuses. There's lots of stuff going on. And they can choose these cards and trying to keep other people from choosing cards, because it's kind of a drafting mechanism of choosing the stuff. And then they're sending it over to the gentleman side. And the gentleman has to decide what to pay for. And so as a lady, you're like, hey, I'm going to send over 3 hats and hope he pays for like 1. Now, if the gentleman isn't thinking and pays for 3, then you're like, okay, what am I going to do with these 3 hats? But because you don't have 1 of each item. So the gentlemen, meanwhile, are like playing the stock market, and they're just turning over these tiles to try and get matches, to try and get numbers, so see who goes in turn order, try and meet some of these basic goals. And then they decide, okay, with the money I've accumulated during that part of that phase of the game, what am I going to purchase for my lady? Or am I going to put some stuff on layaway and maybe purchase it later to kind of see? But we can't, the ladies and gentlemen side can't communicate. So I can't say, look, I sent you 2 dresses. I know I already have a dress, but this one is the right designer and it's going to give me more stars. You need to buy this. I can't tell you that. You just have to assume that I'm playing my game right and I know what I'm doing. So that's why this is so high. Sorry for a long explanation, but I think this game is really overlooked and it is a barrel of laughs. Especially when people get into it and start role-playing whatever role they have. It's fantastic. So my number 82 is Ladies and Gentlemen. My number 80 and 81 are both little small box games, and I have such a soft spot for those. If you can make a game that has all the fun and mechanics of a big box game in a small box, like that is just like, maybe that's my economical side coming out, but I think that's awesome. So my number 81 is Ravenous River. This game is so good. Like it is dope. People need to know about this game. AEG had several of these little game sets and oh my gosh, I love them. You'll see more of them later. Ravenous River is great. You need 3 players and it kind of has that classic, like if you're on one side of the river and you have a sack of bread and a goose and a fox, and in a boat you can only take 2 of those things, how do you get everybody across the river without one eating the other? That's kind of what's happening. So you have all these different animals and they can eat something else, each animal eats something else, and it's like this whole kind of, I don't know, food chain that then circles around. And so you're trying to make sure your particular character, which is a secret, makes it across the river to safety, but ends up there safely. So if you're a mouse, you want to make sure the cat doesn't make it over in your boat. Or if the cat gets in a boat, it needs to be in another boat that's not with you, and it's with the dogs, so when they both get across the river, you're safe. Just like outthinking this like secret player identity, but it's super simple, and yet there's so much to this game. So that's what I really loved my number 81, Ravenous River. My number 80, another small game, has probably laughingly been referred to as like Tiny Epic Le Havre, and that is Harbor. Harbor has that whole buying, selling goods, but it does it in like a less 12,000 chits way, and it's much simpler. You've got your basic worker placement buildings you can go to, and then you can try and buy buildings so people can go to your buildings. You can make a little more money. You're trying to buy and sell goods at the right time to make the most. It's such a fun little game. The arc is hilarious. Like the people that live in this town are like kind of alien looking. My favorite is this guy who looks like Hank Hill, but he's green. Like it's so great. And I didn't realize you could play this at 1. I've never played it at 1. I think I need to play it at 1. But this game is the fun of that kind of supply management that you get with Le Havre, but it's not so much just setup and doesn't take near as long. So it's a nice introduction to kind of a bit of a worker placement kind of resource management game. So that is my number 80, Harbor. All right, so those are kind of the little games for this set. Now I'm going to move on to some actually kind of large games. And some of them are actually deceptively gateway, but sometimes you want a light game. I mean, we can't play Vitel Lacerda all the time. So my number 79 is Mercado. And this game, I think we got on like some clearance special somewhere. And I thought, oh, you know, it's kind of fun. It's got nobles. So of course Jason wanted to, you know, take a risk on it. And it was cheap. I don't know, $10 maybe. Whatever, Rudiger Dorn, pretty cheap. But it is really fun. So in Mercado, you've got a bag of these different colored chips, and they represent, you know, different, like copper and turquoise and silver and gold. And then there's all these items that you want to buy. And so on each item, it'll say, okay, maybe you need 2 turquoise and a silver to buy the item. Well, you don't get maybe enough chips to buy everything, or enough to buy that one item in a round. Or maybe there's several things you're interested in, but maybe you didn't draw out the right colors for the bag. So each side of the item has player colors. So you can just put kind of a down payment on there. And so you're trying to win these bids, when you win something, you get like a little extra kind of incentive or reward, and those things are also going to give you points. So it's kind of a fun, there's like pushing your luck, there's, you know, bag drawing. You're trying to actually build a better bag to get rid of like black chips that don't do anything for you, and white chips which are wild. Little things can happen during the game that kind of give boosts to different players as you move around the scoring track. It's just super fun and so unexpected. This is my number 79, Mercado. My number 78, I do not own. And the fact that it's so high and I don't own it, I think speaks highly for this game. And that game's called Turkey Tides. I remember when it went on Kickstarter and we didn't back it because, I don't know, we're like super cautious here, which I don't know how we got as many games as we have because we're so cautious what we buy. But the artwork is what made me really think about backing it. And the artwork is phenomenal. It's super cool. And it's a trick-taking game, which I love because I grew up playing euchre. And so that, and hearts and spades. And so that's all kind of in my blood. And I love it when they can take trick-taking and make it seem like its own game, not like they're just trying to reproduce euchre. Especially for us in the Midwest. I mean, I've playing euchre forever. If I wanted a euchre game, I would just play euchre. But Turkey Tides does it in a way that you're trying to win the tricks, and then based on the card you play, it dictates kind of how you can move your boats around. It's a pick up and deliver, so you're doing some contract fulfillment, all the while with this gorgeous artwork. So it's a easy enough game, especially because there's that basic mechanic that a lot of people know already about. But it's just like a nice next level, and then it combines some really cool different mechanics. So that is my number 78, Turkey Tides. My number 77, from one of our favorite people, Jamie Stegmaier. I really hope that's right. Yes, okay. I'm like, please tell me this is Stegmaier game. Jason is the one that's so good at publishers, and I'm not. But this is Euphoria. And every time Joel talks about this game, he always talks about it like it's got a horrible theme. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no theme to this, which makes it kind of that classic Euro. And you're working to do some worker placement. You're trying to build up different, factions, I guess, and balance those so you're not super overwhelming in all these different areas. But when you get so far in these different areas, you unlock more. You unlock different things you can do. You can do more in a turn. And I love that kind of balance where you have all kinds of ways to go about it. And the game doesn't dictate to you what you need to do to win. There are so many games out there that it's like, oh yeah, you can get points this way or that way or this way. But really when you play it, there's really only one way that's going to get you enough points to actually have you a chance to win. Euphoria is not that. There are so many different paths to victory, and you can choose what really works for you. And that's what I love about it. So my number 77, Euphoria. My number 76 is another like random bargain bin buy, and it is Sanssouci. I had never heard this game before, never seen it before. It just happened to be somewhere. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. And it's cheap. Let's do it. And Sanssouci would be a great gateway game, and I think I'd like to play it with more people, where everyone's got a garden. And there are different types of things in your garden. You've got your fountains, you've got your classic pathways, you've got your staircases, you've got your arches, you're like these are like cypress trees or something over here. So there's let me count. Let's see if I can see how many. 7 different types of these items that occur in your garden. And tiles are coming up, and it's almost like a grid system where colors go one way and types of garden fixtures go the other way. And so when on the main board, when tiles come up in the marketplace, you pick one, decide, okay, am I going to use this for the type? Like, do I have an opening for that color layer for that type? And then you're trying to move your little, like, these people down through your garden to walk through it to get to the bottom to score the most points. You also have like a secret goal that you get the points for however far down on a particular like garden architecture type you get. So you're kind of working on that as well. But most of it is like, how can I maximize the tiles that are out there and try and fill in as much of my garden as possible? So it's like a push your luck. It's the luck of the draw. It's what comes out, but it's also how you play it. So I think it's just a really fun little kind of light game, but still like enjoyable. So that's my number 76, Sans Souci. My number 75, super popular gateway game. I like it despite the fact that it pretty much is area control, and that is one of my most detested mechanics. But you can't deny how great this game is. And that is my number 75, Royals. Royals is so good because it has those basic mechanics that people are used to. You know, if everyone's played Ticket to Ride or Candyland for that matter, you're getting a color, you're collecting colors, and you're laying stuff down on those colors. Like, it's not really hard. It's counting in colors. And then there's this kind of different mid-game scoring that you do, and then all of it combines to this final scoring. And of course, the cool thing about this is if you tie for some of the final scoring, those actual scoring cardboard pieces split, and you can actually split the points, which is super cool. So Royals is a great, easy game, way to move people into some different mechanics for the hobby if they started with something like Ticket to Ride. So that is my number 75, Royals. All right, on to number 74. Number 74 is a beautiful game. I'm like looking out the corner of my eye in the stack. Bruno Catala, Days of Wonder. It's Yamatai. I am a sucker, as we all well know, for shaped meeples. And gosh, they have those arches in this, and your little huts, and it's breathtakingly beautiful. And I also have a huge soft spot for anything that's Japanese themed, because I have a little Japanese grandma, and I just love the Asian culture and the beauty of this game. May want to play it regardless of how it played. This is often compared to Five Tribes, which you may or may not see later, soon. But I feel like it's totally different. You are placing your little adorable boats and moving in along these tile islands, collect different resources. There's kind of a set collection thing through that to get boats in certain order, to kind of do some contract fulfillment. You're collecting money. Like, there's a lot of different things going on here, and it's gorgeous. So it's thinky, but beautiful and tactile all at the same time. So that's my number 74, Yamatai. My number 73 actually didn't own until today. But someone in our gaming group owns it, and we liked it so much that we thought we need to own it too. And it was on mega sale. So my number 73 is Wreck Raiders. It's still in a shrink. Like, I went and cut it out of the cardboard box that got shipped in today by the UPS guy or FedEx or something, just to use it for this video. Wreck Raiders is also a super pretty game, and I love like treasure hunting, like Indiana Jones, piratey, all that kind of feel and theme, that adventure theme. And I think it needs to be used more in games, actually. And it goes off really well in Wreck Raiders, but I mean, the theme is loose. The cool thing about it is how you play it. So dice are rolled inside the box, and there are certain places if they land, you can get like a special little bonus, a scallop or a little conch shell or starfish, and those can be used in other ways later. So you are placing your people based on the number on the die that you take around these little kind of, they're not really rondelles, but they're around these places that give you resources. I think they're artifacts or something. And you're trying to get them in a certain order for contract fulfillment, or you want to display them in order to get points at the end of the game. You also can use your little special bonuses that you win to kind of be able to manipulate how those artifacts are placed. You can also use them to buy aquarium pieces, which can stack and give you points as well at the end of the game. Lots of different paths to victory. I have yet to win this game. I am terrible at this game. but yet it's cute and fun and lots of interesting things to try for, and you've got the chance of the dice, and you want to place your person where you can get the most kind of resources, and then what do you do with those once you get them? Just a great game. So that's what number am I on? 73, Wreck Raiders. My number 72, another Japanese themed game. I actually have 3 in this set of 5 games. Well, now you know my type. But and they're all beautiful. Like, these are all beautiful games. I feel like I'm a Renaissance person where I just appreciate the beauty in everything. And so this is certainly a beauty. My number 72, Takedo. Gosh, Antoine Bauza. It's just a simple game. Ooh, I need to quit hitting my mic. It's a simple game. You're moving along, taking this lovely little kind of walking tour of Japan. And so along the way, do I want souvenirs? Well, of course I want some souvenirs. Well, I need to make sure I have enough money because I also want to eat somewhere because, the food is half the fun. Let me partake in the culture and paint some pictures. And, well, I really should do my religious duty and stop by a temple and donate some money. And so all these choices are available to you, and you decide how fast your pace is, what do you want to go to? Also, are you going to block people from going to stuff that's going to give them a lot of points? It's not super cutthroat, but there still is that element of where you're placing your worker does kind of determine where other people can or can't go. But the artwork is beautiful. It's like the board is just so pretty in its simplicity, like just minimalist. I would really like to get one of the expansions for this just to see more of the beautiful artwork. But it's just a very nice, relaxing game. Easy one to get other people into that even aren't major gamers. Interesting, that kind of new mechanic of we're moving along a track. You cannot go back, and the person in the farthest behind is the one who takes the turn next. So that's kind of a mechanic that occurs in several other games. And, set collection is also primarily what's happening here. So those are two kind of newer maybe concepts to introduce to people when you're trying to get them into a wider variety of board games. So that's my number 72, Takedo. My number 71, I hinted at earlier, Bruno Cathala. Gorgeous artwork, Days of Wonder, excellent production. It is 5 Tribes. I like 5 Tribes just a little bit better than Yamatai because I really do like the Mancala mechanic. I grew up playing Mancala. It's a gorgeous set. Oh, it's up there in the closet. My aunt brought it home from Nigeria, and I loved that just kind of simple idea of picking up stones, leaving a little trail, and then ultimately, gathering at the end. And it's done so cool in 5 Tribes, and I really like how it does it. And then you can decide, okay, how am I going to use what I've got? Do I want to assassinate some of the other players' good stuff? Do I want to get viziers for in-game points? Do I want to try and do this set collection piece? Do I want to get these genies that are going to give me powers? How can I make the most of what's out there, which gets trickier and trickier as more people start disappearing off of the board. I would love to get the Artisans expansion for this. We don't have it, but that's okay. Because by itself, this game is fantastic. The artwork is awesome. And it also, again, has those shaped meeples, this tactile, the Oasis and the cool, Casbah. I don't know what those are. I can't remember what they're called for the life of me. And you've got your camels and you got your, it's so great. I love it. So that is my number 71, 5 Tribes. And my last game for this video, super adorable artwork, again, Japanese theme game, and something that I like to use as kind of a gateway game for people because they cannot deny the panda. And so my number 70, Antoine Bauza's Takenoko. Takenoko is about contract fulfillment. So it's getting people to say, okay, how do I go about getting these bamboo colors? How do I go about getting them grown in this way? What do I need to have out there for tile placement? And It's not super antagonistic between players. You've got the cool mechanic of moving these adorable pieces around, of stacking up that bamboo, which like makes that tactile thing I love, which I love that. You've got your weather happening, which gives some special little powers each round. It's just a fun game. Like, it's really fun. And yeah, I use it to kind of introduce people to games or this type of game. I get more designer type board games, hobby games. Even my sister, who I've mentioned before, the accountant, who pretty much hates everything fun, she really liked this game and said, oh, you know what? I think my sister-in-law would really love to play that. Yeah, we should play that again with her. And I was like, oh my gosh, you win, and it's the panda. And we also have the Chibi expansion, which I've never played, but they're so adorable. And I know it's not that much harder, but since I'm usually introducing this to new people and not repeat players, I've kind of left the Chibis out. But great game. My number 70, Takenoko. All right, so for a recap, my number 84 was Caper. Number 83, Prodigal's Club. I'm gonna show my cheat sheet here. You're seeing behind the scenes. Number 82, Ladies and Gentlemen. 81, Ravenous River. Number 80, Harbor. 79, Mercado. 78, Tricky Tides. 77, Euphoria. 76, Sanssouci. 75, Royals. 74, Yamatai. 73, Wreck Raiders. 72, Tokaido. 71, Five Tribes, and number 70, Takenoko. So thanks for watching this video. Again, I'm hoping to put out the next couple soon. Unfortunately, poor Jason, he has to edit these videos, and sometimes I don't make that easy on him. But I do love talking about my top 100 games, and I cannot wait to talk about my next 15 in my next video. So hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks guys, keep gaming.